Hello and welcome to Gaia Blooming GPS. This is your weekly navigation for all the shifts and transits, astro transits, the big ones. And we come to you every week. So we're going to just dive in. And the first thing that we have coming up this week, it's a shifty week. There's not a lot of things happening, but there's definitely some big things happening. So the first thing we have is the moon shifting into Scorpio, and that is on Wednesday. And I think it's so perfect that the moon's coming into Scorpio on Wednesday just to help us. Wednesday is actually the last full day of Saturn and Scorpio for like the next basically 30 years. So I think the moon coming in, the moon can show us what's hidden. The moon taps us into our emotions. The moon coming in for the final day, I think, is actually really wonderful. And before I forget, speaking of Scorpio moon, I have Nicole Oman with me. So
yeah, and I am a Scorpio moon. So
yes. So woohoo, perfect for helping us with this Scorpio moon. So the moon in Scorpio, the Osho cards that I pulled, very interesting. The first card I pulled is Breakthrough. And I love this card. This card is beaming with light. And I love this with, with this aspect. Moon in Scorpio, last day of Saturn in Scorpio. We've been looking at our darkness. And so finally, this is saying we've had our breakthrough. It's like, I don't want to say it's now or never, because the astro always gives you a chance. The moon's going to come back around in Scorpio. Things are going to come through Scorpio. There's always a chance. But we've done so much digging through our root, through our shame, through the darkness that we carry. And finally, it's like, here you are, breaking through, bringing the light to that. The card, the burden. I think a lot of us look at this darkness as a burden. And I think this is saying instead, look at it as something that's offered you this breakthrough, to break through from yourself, to break through those conditions, what's held you back, the burden, the cock on your head, that nagging voice that's like, you're not good enough, you should be ashamed of yourself, those kinds of things that we all carry within us. Breakthrough. And the other card is healing. So this is an amazing opportunity, breakthrough and healing for those burdens. What has burdened you? Saturn and Scorpio in general really hits us in the root energy, root chakra energy. And I posted something today on Gaia Blooming just saying, a tree is as strong as its roots. And the more rooted you are, the more you can handle these winds that come through and try to knock you down. The winds of shame, the winds of the should and shouldn'ts that come to us from the world. So I think this is amazing energy. Look at how this is glowing in this light. The healing and the breakthrough. And then from the goddesses, I pulled Isis, past lives, and green tar, start delegating. And this is really interesting too, because our root chakra can carry so much of that past life energy. And the green tar card, start delegating, is ask others, including me, Green Tara, to help you instead of trying to do everything yourself. I think this is saying, hey, if stuff from the past, not even just past life, but from your past, this shame is coming up, don't be afraid to reach out, ask for help, get a session. Nicole and I both do different forms of energy work. She does amazing tarot. I do astro work. We can help you move through this old stuff that's coming up and help you process it. So don't be afraid to ask for help in your healing breakthrough process. Nicole?
Yeah, so, it's funny because I pulled this card a lot for the moons, but I pulled Inner Voice. And this definitely has a lot of moon energy. And I also pulled Go with the Flow. So I think what's interesting about that is because Scorpio is a water sign. So they came upside down. And this is what I want to say when it comes upside down. The reason why you feel maybe stuck or frustrated is because we've forgotten our inner voice. And so if you really want to have those breakthroughs, the breakthrough might be exactly just stopping for a minute and listening to that voice and listening to what you need. And the breakthrough might be just sticking up for yourself, start delegating, not trying to take on every single thing in the world. go, and this is so funny because it feels like so me right now. It's like, don't go to things that aren't aligned. Go with things that are aligned to where you want to go. You have to listen to yourself, or you're going to end up, like what Mimi said, doing what you did in the past life thing. You might have been doing this for a very long time. And it might be because you don't want to stick up for yourself, or you don't want to stick up for what you know that's right for you. But this time is like, listen to your inner voice. And
Nicole froze. Listening to your inner voice, and looks like going with the flow. Hopefully she'll be back in just a second. It's usually me who froze or freezes, so I'm surprised that it wasn't me. So I'm going to dive into the next aspect. Oh, are you back?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see you. I could hear you. My network connection is having difficulties. That's what it is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You're back. It stopped when you were holding up go with the flow. So
okay. So yeah, so go with your flow, and go with your flow, not anyone else's flow. Go with your flow. Then I picked the feline card from the Return of Spirit. This card usually says that you might be going through a lull, and to just know that this lull isn't going to last forever. So rest, have playtime, do things that are nice for you, because don't go with the flow. Okay. Don't put things on your plate that aren't aligned because you're feeling bored. You're going to start really getting busy. So go with the flow right now. That's what Scorpio is saying.
Yeah, I like that. All right. So speaking of network problems, we're moving into Mercury retrograde, and Mercury, of course, I was like, oh, well, that's perfect timing. Mercury is going retrograde on Thursday. So we've been feeling parts of this. We've been feeling it come up. We've been having technology show us it's coming. And so these are the cards that I actually pulled for this Mercury retrograde. And I love them. This Mercury retrograde is in Libra, which is the sign of relationship, sign of finding balance, beauty, love. But Libra, while it has that aspect of the other, always reminds you that the foundation is in you. And it's so interesting that we have this Mercury retrograde. We're finishing up the last of the Libra Aries eclipses coming up next week. We've had so much relationship stuff coming up in the astro over these last few years. And so this retrograde is like, we're going to make sure you get these lessons. And the first card that I pulled is the card Existence. And you know what this reminds me of? Not necessarily my usual chipper Sagittarius thing, but you come into this world alone, you die alone. Are you okay being by yourself? Are you okay being with yourself, one unto yourself? The oneness of you in this great big universe. Are you okay with that? You know, the Libra energy loves to connect, but to be able to be present with yourself is an amazing thing. And the other card that I pulled for this retrograde in Libra is the Rebirth card. And there it is. You're coming into the world alone. You know, you as yourself, your innocence, who you are. So connect into the energy of you. Who are you? Get into this energy with this retrograde. Find out who you are. Remember to love yourself. Take yourself on dates. Be willing to be alone. And discover, if you're lonely, how you can move past that and actually enjoy the company of yourself. I think that's the best thing. You know, meanwhile, we're going to see stuff in relationships coming up. You may be given opportunities actually to be alone. You know, things might fall through. Plans might fall through. That happens a lot with Mercury retrograde. But set that intention. And speaking of intention, from the goddesses, Diana, focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, actions focused on your target, and you will make your mark. I think one of those things, who am I? And how can I be good to myself during this retrograde? And see what shows up for you.
So I got a full spread, I'll have to say. I don't know how this happened, but 7 cards popped out.
Wow.
So this is going to be an interesting retrograde, okay? Because, you know, like Mimi said, it's Libra, it's a relationship to yourself. So let me see where it goes first. So where my focus is going first, there is going to be either a recommitment or you are being tested in your commitments. So this is commitment to yourself, commitment to your work, commitment to your partner. And it might be time to look at it and see what you need to recommit. There might be new agreements. You might need to look and see if the job is working or the relationship is working or the commitments that you have to yourself is working. Now it's upside, like I said, it's upside down. So that's why I say there's a recommitment. And you got to look at what's not working. This is a Mercury retrograde. It's such a good time to look and see what's working and what's not working, and that to get yourself ready for an upgrade. So then I have a couple things. So I have the Storm card and the Simplicity card. And the Storm card usually said this recommitment is because, you know, you either have to get through a storm, there is a bit of some kind of upheaval happening. But what's happening, the reason why is because you've overcomplicated something. So you need more simplicity. There is some simplicity that needs to happen. So less is more right now. Less is more. When a storm comes through and you have a ton of shit outside and you haven't buckled down the hatches, things are flying all over the place, debris is going through windows. The more that you simplify when the storm comes through, when things get taken out, it's like, hey, I already simplified. Don't let the storm take the stuff away. Take it away first. Be empowered with the storm. So as before, even if you're listening this before the Mercury retrograde, you know, take the car in if there's the light on, because if you don't, you're going to have your car blow up in the middle of this Mercury retrograde. Don't, do what you can before it comes, right? And we're saying the storm, there's a little bit of a hurricane coming. It's not something to freak out about. Be mature about it. But, get cans of food. What do you do before a hurricane comes? So know that, when a Mercury retrograde comes, just put yourself in integrity. Okay. So I know it's like a whole reading, but bear with me. So see what's not in harmony. Don't get surprised if something gets postponed. It's okay. It's okay. I think the reason why it has to be postponed is because you have to recommit. Really. Or that is your test. It's postponing. You're going to recommit. A test, recommit. And then source. When all else fails, just listen to the source. Just go back to the source. It's not that big of a deal, because at the end of the day, it's just showing you how you're resurfacing with yourself. You're being shown, like you thought you did all this stuff to mature. Well, you're going to get tested and you might see yourself showing up differently. And that, more than anything, is the most important thing to this is, I'm testing myself now and seeing if I really did learn my lessons. I hope that all made sense. That was a lot, I know.
Yeah. The thing I liked about the harmony card, I always say that about Libra. Libra strives so much for harmony, and your harmony card was upside down. And that's the thing, like I love to say for Libra energy, if you are seeking harmony outside of yourself, you're never going to find that harmony. Harmony starts, again, within, with yourself, being prepared for yourself, taking care of yourself. And so, pay attention to that during this transit as well. Are you seeking harmony without, to the detriment of yourself, to the detriment of your own harmony? Because it's not true harmony otherwise. You're stirring up a storm in there and it will come out one way or another. So,
yes. And that's beautiful to say. If you're in discord with yourself, if you're in disharmony, you're going to create the storm. It's going to be you. You're the hurricane. Yeah. So, be honest with yourself where you're out of alignment.
Totally. All right. So the next thing, we have Saturn moving into Sagittarius. And Saturn moved back into Sagittarius back in December and then moved out. And on Thursday, Saturn is moving back into Sagittarius. So, whew, you know, and Saturn's the planet of karma. Saturn is the Lord of time. He can show us our limits, but really Saturn brings us lessons. Saturn is like the master school teacher, you know, college classes. This is stuff that you need to learn for life. And Sagittarius is the sign of the philosopher. Sagittarius is the sign of infinite possibilities. Sagittarius has got to learn. Sagittarius has got to buckle down, be willing to learn. And I think that's the greatest lesson during Saturn and Sagittarius, is be willing to be open to learn. So that being said, the cards I pulled, the first card I pulled, here we are, Source. Nicole just pulled. I have a whole bunch for Saturn and Sagittarius, like a bunch came out. Source and the Creator. You know, Sagittarius is the sign of infinite possibilities. If you are open, you are tapping into these energies of the Source. You're recognizing the Source within yourself. You have creator capabilities, but you have to be open. You have to be open to the lessons that the universe is going to show you. Slow down, get still, tune in, listen and be open. I think that's huge for Saturn and Sagittarius. And this creativity can come through. But on the other side of things, you know, because there's all those other sides, we have suppression, the mind, and comparison. And these are your blocks. Suppression. This is the opposite of openness. Look at this person. They're hunched over, hiding their heart, being held back by these so-called constraints. This always reminds me of the Rumi poem, Roar, Lion of the Heart, and Tear Me Open. It is time to open. If you are feeling suppressed, you know, you may be blaming Saturn. Oh, Saturn is limits. Stop blaming the planet. It's not Saturn. The planets ultimately are all here to help you through whatever challenges or anything. This is you. This is your own mind that has created this suppression. And chances are it's through comparison. Oh, that person is prettier than I am. They have more money than I am. They have more opportunity than I am. That is just holding you in this closed down, shut down place. It's time to break through that. Recognize the creator that you are, and that you, just like everyone else, are connected to Source and are fully able to tap into your own creativity. So be willing to go there. Be willing to take that responsibility. You know, that's kind of a thing for Sagittarius, is taking responsibility. Sagittarius loves to be all fun and like la-di-da. Take responsibility for yourself, for your mind, for your own thinking. And if it's not where you want to be, allow yourself to open. And that being said, from the goddesses, I pulled Ishel, medicine woman. You're a channel for divine healing power. Here's that Source energy, that creator energy. Divine universe energy is coming through you if you're open. And then Maeve, cycles and rhythms. Honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions. Listen to yourself. Recognize this as a cycle. Recognize there's going to be peaks and valleys in Saturn and Sagittarius. I've been through crazy peaks and valleys in this little time of Saturn and Sagittarius. You should check out, Nicole and I did a video, Saturn and Sagittarius, right before it moved in. I'll put it out there on the blog this week. But Saturn and Sagittarius took out my dad, took out my relationship, took out my home, and now I'm here in this whole new place. Cycles and rhythms. And you know what? Better it gets, the better it gets. Even if it's hard at sometimes. Nicole?
And and just so you know, Mimi is a Sagittarius. So if you're a Sagittarius, it might be hitting you a little bit more profound, a little bit more deep, depending on where Saturn or Sagittarius is in your chart. And also, if you're 27 to 30 or 57 to 30, it's going to be tearing through you a little bit. And then the rest of us, what?
57 to 60. You're like 57 to 30. Your whole life.
Well, Mercury and retrograde. I'm already feeling it. At 260, and you know what I mean. But so it's one of those things that it's going to be tearing through you a little bit deeper. But we're all going to get something. And I love that because I feel like Mimi is holding it down for, she's doing the work. And so see if you're resisting that work and see if you're really being able to surrender to that energy, because the more you are, the more you're going to be upgraded for the next 30 years and you're not going to have to do the old lessons. Okay. So Mimi's like, I'm doing it and I'm in. So You know, there's that. So mine are a little all over the place, to be honest with you. So this is where I'm going first. So we got lovers and projections. So I want you to be a little cautious in the Saturn and Sagittarius thing. Sagittarius is our youth, the possibilities. Oh, this is fun and phenomenal. But be careful. I think what you might have to learn is what projection you are putting out on other people. So you might think you found your soulmate. You might think you have this relationship. But be willing to be honest with yourself. Be willing to see the truth. Be willing to see what you want. And it's also might be the opposite. You might meet somebody and be like, you're projecting all this shit onto them. Really, it's not them. It's because I got the existence card, and that's the Magician upside down. So it's all about you, not them. Don't fix them. Don't try to control them. Work on yourself. Sagittarius is pointing to you, right? It's the direction. Don't look at other people. Don't try to do their bidding. Do yours. Drop the projections and really see where you want to go. And because there's this innocence card, and this is the Sun card in Tarot, and the other Tarot. And so, you know, you really got to go for your innocent heart. You got to go for what, you know, that inner child kind of wants, not what other people want. Drop the projection. And then I got the confidence card. So have confidence in yourself. Be willing to trust yourself. For some reason, the Sagittarius energy is going. A lot of the fire signs, it's not that they're selfish, but they are more self, the capital S. So it's really listening to the self. And be willing to do that. I know sometimes it feels selfish, and you can ride that line, but it's a deeper self. It's that innocent self that already has the blueprints of your life. And if you're doing someone else's path, you're not really listening to yourself.
Awesome. I love it. All right, so then finally on Friday, I love it. The moon took us out of Saturn in Scorpio, and now the moon is taking us into the beginning of Saturn in Sagittarius. So we have the moon shifting into Sagittarius. I love this moon. This moon, I've watched the moon escort planets in and out of signs over this last year, and I'm so grateful for the moon tuning us into our feelings. And the feelings for this moon in Sagittarius, despite Saturn shifting into Sagittarius, we're optimistic. We're in a place of possibilities and no-thingness. I love this no-thingness card. This is one of my favorite Osho cards. This is a place of no-thing, which is everything, the possibility of everything. And I love this card too for Sagittarius because this is the eagle looking down from this higher perspective where it can see everything. You know, if you're struggling, if Saturn and Sagittarius is already like, for you, take a higher perspective. What is your lesson in this? What possibilities is this bringing? I firmly believe, especially being through the last little bit for myself, that any challenge that comes into your life is priming you for some kind of blessing, some kind of desire that you want in your life that you haven't reached, that you haven't attained. You have to make it through the challenges. So challenges are coming up. Take that eagle, higher perspective. Recognize the possibilities and let go of your resistance. This is a huge, huge lesson for me. I've been sitting here thinking, like, how many times I've resisted things, resisted. I resisted this move up to Santa Cruz, resistance. And then I finally am like, I just have to do it. I just surrender into it. I let go of my idea of right and wrong. And I fall into it. And that's when the possibilities come. That's when the gifts from the no-thingness come. So if you're feeling resistance in this, take that higher perspective and see those possibilities. And from the goddesses, 2 goddess cards jumped out. Inner goddess, Aphrodite. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. You know, for many of us, Neptune is in Sagittarius. So many of us are going to be having Neptune go over our Sagittarius. Like everybody from the 70s and the early 80s, Neptune and Sagittarius. We're awakening our inner goddess. We're awakening spirit within us. Let her come through. Let her help guide you through the twists and the turns in the road. The other card is Anya, leap of faith. Take a risk. Put your heart's true desire into action. And that's what I actually say about Neptune and Saturn coming together. is it's an opportunity to take a leap of faith where you really have to put your faith into action, what you learned about your faith, what you understand about your faith. So I think the moon is giving us a little preview of this. The moon is going to be connecting to Neptune. So it's going to give us a little preview. Those of us with Neptune and Sagittarius are going to be going through the next little bit.
Yeah, I have a Neptune in Sag, but it's a little later. I'm in, mid 80s, so 83. So I have it a little later, but I can already start kind of seeing that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So this is for Friday, the moon in Sagittarius, and mine very coincide with what Mimi said. Remember how I pulled that feline card of like, have fun, everything's rested, blah, 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 and postponement and all this other stuff? Well, I have the upside down postponement and intensity. So I'm getting that you might get an opportunity on Friday with this moon in Sag. That I love this because Sagittarius is all about the arrow, the direction, and this is intensity. This is direction. This is focus. This is focused. Like it's almost like a rocket ship, And then I got the fearless card. So I really do think that there is going to be an opportunity that presents itself with this energy that would speed things up. And you've got to believe in yourself. And I love this card and this card together because the postponement card upside down. So it's not telling you to wait. It's telling you and the postponement card has this person looking out the window, praying, wanting this to come. And there's a little bit of rainbow colors. There's rainbow colors. It's in color out the window. And this one is on its shirt. It has all these rainbow colors, wishing, wanting to be in color. And this is a full-on rainbow. It's like, it is time for you to take your power and believe in yourself. Be fearless. Go ahead. Take the opportunity and spread those. Those look like wings to me. Spread those wings. Know that you have them and go for it. Because you know what? Playing safe is not going to work anymore. And that's Saturn and Sagittarius is going to tell you that. You can't play it safe. You got to get grounded. You got to do it in the right way, but you can't play it safe. And I think that with that Saturn Neptune stuff too, it's like, to me, with the Sagittarius, to me, it's saying to those people, you've learned a lot. We're kind of a new breed. We're a very interesting breed. That's when the indigos and the crystal children started to come, star-seeded children started to come on the planet. And if you have a message that you need to say, don't wait. It needs to be said now. And that faith, that's that faith. It's like, we have to put our faith out in the forefront, because if you're not going to do it, how's anyone else going to do it? And we've got to start talking about more spiritual issues in the world and start believing a little bit in the woo-woo. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, people are talking about Pleiadians and aliens and all this stuff. What are you scared of? What are you scared of? It's a mathematical probability that it's way, way, way impossible that we're the only ones that are on this freaking universe. So it's like, why don't we start expanding our horizon?
Sagittarius, expand those horizons.
I wouldn't be surprised in the next 2 years in this is my own tangent, but in the next 2 years with Saturn and Sagittarius, that we do find life somewhere else, that NASA will come out and say, we found a planet that can support life. They might baby step us, but I would not be surprised to hear something of that in the next year or two. Because we need to grow up. Seriously, we got to grow up in our beliefs. We got to grow up and stop thinking we're the center of the freaking universe, because we're not. We're just not. And so, yeah, I think that that's my prediction on this video, that NASA will baby step us into maybe announcing they found a planet or something.
Cool. I like it. All right. So that's this for this week. We have gone through the shifts, and although there's not so many, they're definitely intense. If you would like more information, check out the daily horoscopes. Nicole posts daily guidance on her Facebook page. Nicole, what's your Facebook page? I don't actually know. Nicole Oman?
Nicole Ullman. It's coaching with, so it's Facebook/coaching with Nikki.
There you go, Coaching with Nikki. And on her Instagram, you can find it all on Gaia Blooming Facebook page. Check out NicoleOman.com, GaiaBlooming.com. Come find us and check out our Saturn and Sagittarius video that we did back in December, the first time it shifted in, and just see what we talked about. And I remember talking about opening up, and it's a big opportunity for all of us to open and expand. So I'll be posting that on the blog all through this week as well.
And I am teaching an artist way class.
Yeah.
Starting October 6th. And I'm telling you, like, it is pennies compared to my private coaching, but you get me in a very, very real way. Not only that, it's your journey, and it's phenomenal. And we're doing life purpose stuff. It's very connected to what the Saturn and Sagittarius stuff is teaching us. And what I want to show you is where you're blocking yourself, where you can get your empowerment. And, you know, I see the group shaping up. I'm really excited about it. I mean, we got some guys this time, and I'm really excited that we have a couple guys that will be joining us. And, you know, I'm very excited for the energy they bring. So join that. And if you need payment plans, just email me. Things can be worked out. I'm very flexible.
I took it last time she did it, and I can't say enough about it. It was amazing, very transformational, incredible, and so many good lessons. You know, and you might be like, oh, I've done it before, or I don't need that kind of help. I'm not an artist. I promise you, it doesn't matter. Everybody's an artist, but you don't need to be an artist. This is going to help you with blocks in your life. Anywhere you are in your state of learning, you can get so much from this. Take a chance, especially if your soul's like, oh, I'm kind of curious. Do it. I promise you it's going to be transformational, and it's going to do you so much good.
It's a pretty amazing class. And I've done the book like 3 or 4 times before I took the class, before I actually learned it from someone else. And now it's my own. I've strayed a little bit from hers, but because I'm me and that's what I do. However, it's very different. And if you have finished that book by yourself, I'd be very surprised. You'll actually finish it with me, because it's a class and you paid for it and you're going to finish it. But also you have support. You have the support of me, and you have the support of your class, and there's some enjoyable things. You'll actually learn some psychic development as well.
Excellent. All right, well, check that out. Join her class, and we will see you next week. Enjoy the shift. Namaste.
Namaste.